Yes.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back. Another episode of Be You, part of Supermom's Magic Circle. And today we have an amazing mother of two who've been through lots of difficulties, lots of challenges, lots of setbacks, and she's still there with her superpower. And we're going to find so much from her. Resilience, it's her second name. Deirdrei, welcome. Thank you so much for saying yes. Hello.
Thank you. Hi, Roxanne. Is it Roxandra? Sorry.
No, that's
No, I'm
okay.
getting the name wrong. Yeah, how are you? I'm good. I'm good.
I'm
Yes.
super excited. I know we spoke a few months
Yes.
ago, and
Yes.
I'm impressed by your story. So, you are running an amazing business, but before you manage to do that, you've been to the most difficult part that anyone could face. So, let's start off and please share with us that experience, which I know is very hard and it's very difficult for everyone. So, we'll talk about grief. Anyone, if you want to share your journey, it will be amazing.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Yes, it all happened 15 years ago in 2010 when I lost my 3-year-old daughter to meningitis within hours. It happened so quickly. I am South African, so it happened in South Africa, and it happened very quick. I mean, still every day, or sometimes when I think about it, I still just can't believe it. She had the symptoms. We took her to the hospital, and at the hospital, just a few hours later, they declared her um, that she died. Horrible experience at that time. It was myself and my husband, and then we had another daughter, or Kara. She's older now, so I'm talking about 15 years ago. Yeah, my daughter's name was Chelsea, only 3 years old, and it happened very, very quickly. And I remember standing at that hospital next to the bed, and I just remember that it just felt at that time that I just died as well. I just died as a person, I just died as a mother, and I just died. So it was horrible, a horrible experience.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And honestly, I have no words to say because meningitis, it's something that it can be treated, right? So if it's the symptoms are recognized early, can you talk and just tell us
Yes.
more about that? What sort of symptoms and how can someone make sure they're not going through that if it's possible
Okay.
to avoid it?
Yeah, you see, so how it happened is she was at the daycare and they phoned me in the afternoon and they just said she's not herself because she was a very hyper energetic child and she wasn't herself. She was very lethargic and she was just lying there the whole day at the daycare. And then they said at that time that she started with a fever. And immediately, I remember, so I come from a very corporate background. I worked in the corporate world in South Africa. And I remember I was actually, at that time, as still a young mother, it was work always in my mind, work first. And she's at a daycare, so obviously they would take care of her. But immediately, it's just something just in my head that said, you must go home now, So I remember I just said to my boss, I'm going home. My child is sick. There's something not right. And I rushed home. And when I got to the daycare, I took her home and then I just gave her obviously the medicine. We mothers, we've got medicine at home. I gave her medicine. But then later that evening, at that time, it seems like, okay, she's going to be fine. She's just a little bit tired, maybe. But then later that evening, she started vomiting. And when the vomiting started, my husband said to me, I think we need to take her to the hospital. So we immediately took her to a hospital. Luckily, the hospital was just 5 minutes away from our house. So we took her there to emergency. But immediately when they undressed her, they saw she had some red spots. And immediately they said to me, these are the symptoms of meningitis. And at the time, I remember saying to my husband, okay, I remember the word meningitis. We heard about this medical term. We know this. And he still said to me, she's going to be fine because she's a fighter. She's going to be fine. But little did I know that she will pass away within hours. And yeah, it was just, it's still when I just think back of that moment, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But yes, it is a vaccine preventable disease, I can say now. So back in 2010 in South Africa, the vaccine wasn't licensed as yet. So we didn't even know much about the disease in South Africa. I mean, still a lot of people, we still, I mean, unaware about the symptoms and you know what you have to look out about meningitis. And I always say to parents when they ask me, I said, we're not doctors, so just take your child immediately to get to seek health care. You know, might be a doctor, go to the hospital if you don't feel right, because it comes across like flu-like symptoms, the headaches and fever, vomiting, and then, as I said, then the spot. But not all the symptoms can. There won't be signs of all the symptoms at the same time. I
Yeah.
understand what you, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
I
Yeah.
absolutely understand. And you are such a power. You are so strong and you've been through so much. And let's go and talk a bit about what have you done moving forward? Because I know you
Okay.
started a nonprofit. Tell us more
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. So after all this has happened, I couldn't get much answers in South Africa. Well, just from the doctors, I couldn't get much answers, and I needed to know. I wanted to find out about this, because I always say to myself, I'm not the first one that this is happening to. And I seeked help obviously through the internet. I used Google a lot at that time. And then I came across a lot of stories about meningitis and it's such a devastating disease, and then I reached out to a global nonprofit organization, a world body of all the meningitis organizations around the world. And I reached out to them. And at that time, the head office was in Australia. And I remember sitting in South Africa at my house, and I'm getting a feedback from my email to them. And then they said to me, "Oh, sorry, I didn't even say this before. Sorry, I forgot not to say that because of all this, I wanted to find out more about meningitis. I started the nonprofit organization in South Africa for um, raising awareness about the disease." And then short after that, I reached out to the organization in Australia, the head office, and I remember they were saying to me immediately, "Oh, they are so glad that somebody from Africa is reaching out to them, because there were already lots of organizations around the world." And remember, I'm just a mother who lost a child, but they became so part of me because it was almost like we were just talking the same language. It was a place like we're just a family. Some of us lost our children to meningitis. Some of the people, because 20 to 30% of people surviving meningitis, they live with disabilities. So we had survivors, and we just this whole big family around the world supporting each other. And through that, we can then support people in our own countries um, with this disease. So that happened a long time ago. That happened 15 years
Yeah,
ago.
but that's
Yeah.
phenomenal. That's phenomenal that you had the strength to do something more.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm
Yes.
getting emotional now because I know your story and I know life hit you later on again and you lost your husband.
Yes. So, yes. So we were still grieving. I mean, we were young parents 15 years ago. We had our two daughters, and the one was just, I mean, she passed away. It was just heartbreaking. And I think at the time, I remember my husband was saying, they always say when you lost a child, it can either break or make your marriage, and I remember it was difficult. It was just very, very difficult for us. I think I was more in a zombie state, in a shock state for so long of my life. And then I remember, and it happened 7 years ago, that my husband said to me, I even can't remember, I can't even, I believe it's 7 years ago, but 7 years ago, he said to me, "Let's do something else. We need something else, because now we've just been grieving and grieving. So let's do something else." So my husband was a teacher, And at the time, he said to me, let's travel the world. Let's see what's out there. And then he applied for a position here in China. And I remember he got the position immediately. And at the time, I still said to him, you can go check it out because I mean, we don't know much about China, in Africa, we don't know. So go check it out. And if it's okay, myself and my daughter, and at that time, I just had my son. So after Chelsea passed away, we were blessed with a son. And my son was only like 5 years old. And I said, okay, let's see, let's give him and my daughter Kara a second chance in life, something different, and it's just for us
Yeah.
as well, for us as well. And then, but immediately when he got the job, the school then said, "What can your wife do?" And he was like, he doesn't think she's an accountant. So he doesn't think she will teach. And I was like, what? I'm going to have the interview and let's see. And I also immediately got a position. I
Yeah.
mean, yes. So
Yeah.
within a month, we were packing up and it was just so crazy because we were like, we weren't sure we're doing the right thing, but we just said we are going to do this. The family wasn't too happy because I always say, families, it's so far away, but we were like, we need to do this. So we can, if it doesn't work out, we can always come back. That was a whole thing. So we moved to China. Oh, it's a different story, but all good, all good. And we were here, I think we moved in 2018. So we were here just almost 2 years. And then COVID struck. It was COVID. And I remember we were on holiday outside the country, but then the school that we were at, they said we must come back because the borders are going to close down. So it's going to be good for us. It's because we're family. If something should happen, that we at least in China and, they can take care of us. And so I remember we were in lockdown, it was all over the news, the lockdowns in China. And I just remember it was a Saturday afternoon around this time. It was around, no, just like it was 5 o'clock, so like an hour back. And I was just talking to my husband, and he just collapsed and he died in front of me. He had a heart attack. I still can't believe it. So yeah, that was another devastating. And I remember saying to myself, because we were in lockdown, so we didn't had we weren't a lot of our colleagues. They were all around the world. They went back home to their home countries. We were only five at the time. We stayed up in at the dormitory at the school, and we were only like five of us. And I just luckily we had another South African lady. She was fluent in Chinese, so she could phone the ambulance and and they immediately police, and they immediately came out, and yeah, but they declared him dead immediately. And I just remember saying to myself, I can't believe this is happening again. It was like all that shock and that grief and that everything just took over again. Um, yeah, so that
Thank you
happened.
so much, Deirdre. Oh my goodness me. Honestly, I have no words to say that you are in front of me now, still smiling, still having that courage to talk about everything you've been through. And it's so difficult. And I feel like life wasn't fair for you on so many different levels. However, you are still here on your own with the dream and with the mission to be there for your children. And you're
Yes,
still in China. And
I'm
based
still.
on everything you've been through, yes, you carry on being a teacher, but also you build up this beautiful business. Talk with us about more about the D Life Health and Wellness in China that you run.
So yeah, so after my husband died, I said to myself, you must keep in mind that the medication, uh, uh, like China's foreign. Do you understand? It's not like the Western world. So everything is foreign. And I said to myself, I'm not going to go onto antidepressants or any of that medication. I had to be strong for my two children because remember, keep in mind when my daughter died and I went into depression and all that, my husband was there to support me. But now he died and I had absolutely no one. And my children, they were, I mean, still young. It was 5 years ago, so they were younger, and they don't know. I mean, my son, he didn't even know my daughter that passed away, so he doesn't know about grieving and anything of that. So I said to myself, you have to be strong. And I was with luck. My colleagues at my school, one of my colleagues, he was into fitness. And then I remember we went for coffee and he said to me, it's I will show you how to do fitness. Like get into the thing, let's do the gym together. And he was my support for long. And I started. I mean, I didn't even know how to do a treadmill. I mean, I was on the treadmill and I was so nervous because I was like, what if I press the wrong button? I don't know what. So my sister's in Cambodia. My sister's a fitness trainer, and she just said to me, go, you need something, you need exercise, and you need to try to 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 um to eat healthy, because you must keep in mind part of, well, grief and my journey is I remember I couldn't eat, I couldn't get food into my system, so obviously they were worried about me. I must eat, and so I just needed somebody to help me with it, and luckily I had this friend helping me, and so we hit the gym, and then we started doing cardio classes, and we were just into wellness, and he helped me to eat again, to get into the routine, try to eat. He was there. He was always asking me, did you eat today? Or what did you had? He was literally there for me. But so with time, I got stronger, much stronger. And I went through a lot of meditation. That was part of my healing. I used to meditate like 3 hours a day. So that was part of my healing, meditation. I used to visit a lot of, we have the Buddha temples here. So it was just finding myself, finding who I am, my spirituality, spiritual side, and
Yeah.
it was just myself, my body, my mind, and my soul. And I got into yoga, and it was just a peaceful, it was my time. My kids know when it's meditation time, it's me. It was my time. It's me time. They're not allowed to talk to me. Yeah. So it was just, that was my coping mechanism. And then
Wow.
so then I said to myself, but because I'm a business person, so why can't you find out, and how can you start and open something like this in China? And I mean, there's a lot of Chinese traditional uh, medicine practices, and but there's something that we are a lot of expats here. We are a lot now. When it's not like 20 years ago. We are a lot here, and um, so I opened the business, and then I contacted a guest house. And it's just 2 hours from where I am here, where I'm living. And we in collaboration, and the guest house that we started is like, it's a place for serenity. So you can come and you can just, if you want to get away from the hustle and the bustle of the city life, because you must keep in mind China's huge. I mean, I'm staying in a city. I'm just outside Shanghai, and Shanghai itself is very big. And I'm in Suzhou, and here is over 10 million to 12 million people. So it's just all about work and the hustle and the bustle. But we need weekends. We want to go away and just go and find ourselves. So again, and
Yeah.
so at the guest house, what we bring in, we do yoga and just meditation and some sound healing. So that's what we're doing, and it's on it's on we call it they call it the island, are surrounded by lakes. So you just feel a little
Wow.
Chinese history you can find there, and find yourself. You
That's
know,
beautiful. That's phenomenal. And they can recharge their batteries. And
they
wow.
reason that. But I actually want to tell you, because I haven't spoken to you in a few months. I think I can't remember. So after, I think, our conversation, I then just opened up a studio, a yoga and Pilates studio here in Suzhou. Yeah, so I have a studio as well now, where thank
Yay.
you,
I
thank
remember
you.
you said that. And also you said you want to make it a franchise and you want to extend in the
Yes,
US market and maybe even
yes,
UK, if I
yes,
remember right.
yes, and I actually, yes, in the US market, I have found some yoga instructors is very, very keen. So I'm hoping to maybe this summer holiday, because our summer holiday is coming up in July, August, and September. Maybe I can go there and then we can start something there. But it's been phenomenal. I mean, every week is just amazing. I meet a lot of people. And it's just, yeah, it's just a place to come and I'm talking about both places, the guest house and the studio, just to come and find yourself, and it's just be you and follow your heart and forget about all the noise around you because there are a lot of noises, you know. Society's
Absolutely.
a lot of things and there's a lot of noises around you and but just be yourself and be you. And that is what it's all about. Yeah.
Yes, and you're coming back to the name of this podcast, Be You. And that's the reason why I call this Be You, because this was kind of my journey to rediscover myself and to be true to who I am. And here I am. I love to hear those empowering stories. Those are real stories, raw stories with amazing women in business, especially moms in business like yourself. And you know that when usually they are saying when life gives you lemon, make sure you squeeze it and you make a lemonade. And you did wow, even more than that. Look at you now and look at you how strong you are. And I love your vision. You are a visionary. You are unstoppable. You are incredible. And I really hope you know that. And if you don't know that, everyone who's listening or everyone who's watching, please go and reach to Deirdre. Go and reach and give her lots of virtual hugs and kisses and hearts because she deserves our love. You did amazing. I don't know how many people could have done even 10% of what you have accomplished so far based on everything you've been through. So please take that moment and really be proud of you. And I'm
Thank you
just
so
so
much.
excited. It's from the
I
tip of
wish
my
we
heart. And
invite the whole world to come to China, because a lot of people we're very skeptical about China, but it's very international now, and it's just yes, if you do come to China, just come and look up and me and just come to the studio and just come and
yeah, what we
go
could
to
do,
the
we can talk about it. If you want, we can talk about it. Maybe we can organize like an event or maybe like a retreat, and then people
yeah.
can come into the guest house and into the Pilates studio. Maybe we do like a 2 or 3 day event. We could work on that if you want. Absolutely, that would be amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, for me, a lot of people asking me, how can you still standing? And I think when things happen in our lives, that is what it's about. You can't go and I remember my husband used to say this to me when I was in deep depression after losing my daughter. Um, and I remember he said to me, you can't go and sit in a corner. You've got another child. That was my with I'm in Cairo, and now in the years I've got now 2 children. And when my husband died, I remember it was almost like I heard his voice saying to me, "You can't go sit in a corner. You've got 2 children now, so you have to be strong. And whatever it takes, you need to go on and on." And a lot of people ask me, "Do you still grieve?" To be honest with you, I think because the first grieving was so devastating. It was hard. It was just very, very difficult for me. The second grief, my husband's grieving, I'm okay. I'm actually okay, and I can talk about it. For long, I couldn't talk about my daughters, everything that happened there. But I'm fine now. After so many years, I can say I can talk about it. It's okay. Yes, it hurts, but it's okay to talk about it. But
Yes.
it's all a process, and that's what I'm actually also want to tell a lot of people. I say it to a lot of ladies, um, that always ask me, how do I do it? And I say, it's a process. Don't rush yourself. And I had, yes, I was bullied a lot along the road. Like people would tell me like, oh, it's been so long, just get over it now. I'm talking about the grief or the death of my husband or the death of my child. A lot of people will say, just go get over it. But I can say, nobody can tell you anything. it's your process and what you experience. So just do you. I always say that, do you. And if it's okay not to be okay, you know,
It's
I
okay to
remember,
cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay.
yeah, I remember after my husband died and I had to go stand in front of the classroom and I thought I'm going to be fine. And just something small, it wasn't even related to my husband's death. I just burst out of tears in front of my students and they couldn't understand because obviously the school didn't want them to know much. It was a lot of things going on that time. It was COVID and everything. But I just walked out of the classroom and I went to the senior and I just said, I can't do this. But they covered it immediately in my classes. But what I'm saying, it's okay to cry. It's okay not to be okay. And it's okay to seek help as well.
Yeah,
We've got a lot of pride. People's got pride as well, but put that pride and that ego aside and just be not okay if you're not okay. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And that's so important. And I'm so glad you said that. And from your experience, as you went more into the spirituality journey, and even if it might be God or might be Buddha in your case, if you're in
Yeah.
China, whatever it is in there, is this the time when you can be at peace? Is this when you learn to be okay with the silence? Is this when you can be okay with your thoughts, with your feelings? Once you started your spirituality journey, I know you said you're meditating for 2 or 3 hours. Do you ever feel their soul there?
I'm going to tell you this. For me, it was like a higher power, like the universe. I always say to people, it was like the universe. I felt that, you know. Um, when I do believe, yeah, there is a higher power, it's the universe, because I'm sure of it. I mean, uh, everything that happens to us, there's a reason for it. There is a reason why it happened to us. But I don't say for me, and I'm talking about my journey. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about me and I'm talking about how what I've experienced. I always say didn't happen to me, it happened for me. For me. Because I don't know. As sad as it is, I've lost my daughter. It's very sad. It was devastating. But just in that scenario, just to help somebody with meningitis, or just speaking out about it, I'm sure it will help somebody else. That's what awareness is about. And in my husband's with this grief, um, it's actually now that I'm thinking back to that time. So when he passed away, I think just a year after he passed away, a fellow colleague of mine, her husband passed away here in China as well. It was also crazy, but I could be then there. I was there then for her. It was just so strange for us. We said that, I mean, it was just weird and strange. But I do believe that for me, it's like the universe, and we meet these people on our paths. And I love meeting people. I always believe, just sharing our stories and talk about it. It's just amazing. Um, but I do feel it's all about energy. I know that because I do know that what you put out is what you're gonna get back. Yes, and
Yes,
I can talk. We can talk for long about that. I can talk, but what you give out is what you're gonna get back. And I also do believe in what happened in your past. It's not a life sentence. Do you understand? So
yeah,
yeah. So try to look for always for the beauty in life, and beautiful things will happen to you.
that's
Yeah.
incredible. Thank you ever so much. I'm just so blessed and so grateful to have you here, to hear your story and all your wisdom. And it's just so powerful to hear how you talked about the universe and the energy and everything that it's in your power. Because what's in your control? Your thoughts, your feelings, the way
Yes.
you react to certain situations, that's in you and that's you are in control of that. So you can be in the
Mhm.
driving seat and you can create the life that you desire as far as you have the intention of being present in your choices and consciously
Yeah, and
choose to do things.
I've trained myself so much over the years that I try to stay in the now. The past, it happened. It happened. The future must still happen, but try to stay in the now. And that has helped me tremendously. A lot of people always say to me at school as well, whenever, we teachers, so we get stressed out about it. And I say, that's tomorrow's problem. Why are you worrying about it now? Try to stay in the now, because I can tell you it happened twice in my life, that my whole life has changed completely within minutes. And what my goals back then is not my goals now. I don't even remember what was my goals back then. I was a different person. uh, you
So
know
what's your goal now? What's your mission now?
my mission now is just to be happy, for my kids, because I have my two lovely kids, and I just need to be happy, um, so that they can be happy. That is my goal. That is my goal.
To be truly happy, not to wear the mask of
Really
happiness and
happy.
smiling,
But I also have learned over the years that happiness comes from within. Nobody else can make you happy if you're not happy.
with yourself.
You're with yourself. Yes, yes, that's what I've
That's
learned.
beautiful. Thank you so much. So
Thank you so
before I
much.
let you go, oh, you share so much with us, but is there a final message you like to leave the audience with, or it's something else you like to share?
I think all I can say is it's about the podcast and what you're doing. It's just be you. I'm very sometimes I'm very conservative at times. I'm very old school as well. I mean, came from a society can say a lot of things, but be you. And like, just, I take a lot of advice from other people, but I also always say, like, I'm gonna follow my heart, and I'm gonna follow my heart and do what I want to do. um and just see where life takes me. There is where I am at in my life. So it's difficult. Life can be difficult out there. I think, especially for moms, working moms, business moms, and the kids. It can be so difficult. But be you and follow your heart, and just try to be happy all the time. If you're happy, like I said, what you're putting out, you will get back. Then happiness will come back to you. Yes.
That's
That's what I
amazing. Thank you so much. I have
thank
to
you so
clap.
much.
I have to clap. And I'm sure whoever listened to this podcast, it was the best podcast they could ever choose to listen to. Thank you so much. Everyone who's listening, you saw her incredible story. Lots of setbacks, lots of grief, lots of compassion, lots of difficulties. And look at her. She is striving, and she's striving because she is herself. So remember, be you. Whatever you do, whatever action you take, whatever choices you take them with your heart and make sure that it's you who's making that choice. Because even if things go wrong, at least it was your choice and you can learn from it. You At least that's something you can do. So thank you everyone who listened today. Please go on Supermom's Magic Circle. Ask any questions you have for Deirdre. She will be there to answer any questions, and she will wait with her arms really open to go and see her in China. Go and check her studio, check her yoga studio. I will put all the details here. Go and check everything she does, and even that beautiful space where you can relax. And I can even imagine the lake around you and all the amazing things you do. Go and check her out because she is incredible, as you can tell. So, this is all from today. Keep on smiling, keep on shining, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.